On April 30th, 2014, the body of Troy Gray Jr. was found. He was murdered. This adds to the long list of unsolved murders in Paris, Texas. His close friend, Tiana Woods, is concerned about justice not being served. How do you feel about the Paris Police Department investigation?
Considering that the Paris Police Department doesn't have a homicide department, I don't feel like they're doing any investigation. It's an old saying that if you know better, you do better. We can't expect them to do any better when they don't know anything about homicide investigation. There's been too many unsolved murders, and when is the Paris Police going to have a homicide department? You know.
How long have you known Troy?
I've been knowing Troy for probably about 18 years or so. We grew up together doing music, and eventually we became business partners.
An independent investigator was hired to investigate Troy's murder. Did that lead to any new leads?
It led to a lot of leads, and pretty much confident that he solved the case. As far as going out and getting statements from witnesses and everything like that, going out canvassing areas. However, the police department hasn't really took the information that we all went out and got for them, because I never seen any of them out in the field, investigating anything. They really haven't acted on anything.
There's a new petition on change.org calling for a federal investigation of all the unsolved murders in the past 12 years. What do you feel about that?
I think it's a good thing because Paris is small. Most of the time when I tell people I'm from Paris, they think Paris, France. They never heard of Paris, so I think the petition is pretty good to get this info out of Paris and then out of Texas to other states and hopefully around the globe, because everybody, needs to know about it. If we don't get it out, then this type of stuff will continue to happen.
All of the unsolved murders in the past 12 years have been black men. Do you think race plays a part in that?
Race is a big issue in Paris, Texas, as well as the outskirts, Detroit, Clarksville, all these other towns. I don't know why people don't see it or seem to ignore it. You can go around to the restaurants. You can see majority of the waitresses and waiters are not of African descent or colored or whatever you want to label it nowadays. And you go to fast food joints and you see majority of the minorities working there. As far as I went to predominantly kind of like a white school. I seen racism there, but it's pretty much alive and well. I just got back into town, went to get my oil change, and I pulled up, was standing outside my car, and the guy looked at me and kept doing whatever he was doing. A couple minutes later, a white female drove up, and he went right to her car to see what she needed. I could have responded to it, but hey, I've been around it all my life in Paris, Texas, so it's kind of like whatever, just go take my business elsewhere. And I think that's what needs to happen in Paris, Texas. We need to start taking our business elsewhere, and maybe they'll become more aware or be more concerned about, what the minorities go through in this town.
So how's Troy's family handling the situation?
Everyone, grieves in different ways. His mother and of course his father is taking it pretty hard, and his sister and brothers. But I think a lot of it is people don't know. I mean, if you've never been in a situation, you don't know how to react. You don't know what path to take to get justice. But Troy is pretty much my best friend, and I'm here to step in and help his family.
How do you feel knowing you're doing more investigation than the police department?
With Paris police, they don't know. They're not around the community. I mean, if it's not your people or your family member or something like that, then a lot of people can just sit back until it happens to you. But without the police department, whatever, that's still my best friend. I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. Yeah. I just can't a lot of people around here say they were close or whatever, but I don't see as many people doing what I feel they should do if you claim someone as your friend, or if you care about somebody's family. But then I have to think also, a lot of people are scared for their own lives. A lot of people suspect that the police or the authorities or anyone, how they get conspiracies, that they're involved. So of course, not as many people would step up, but I'm asking anyone, if you have any information, anything like that, just come talk to me. I'm not gonna put your name out there. I just want the guys who females who murdered Troy in custody. Get them off the street. I mean, Paris is a small town. Pretty much a lot of people relate to each other. Like, why do we have to go through this? We're our own enemies, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, when there's so much other issues that need to be handled in this town.
Are you originally from Paris?
Yes.
Do you feel safe here?
I actually don't live here. I stay in Georgia. I actually feel safer in Georgia around strangers because it's usually, more than likely it's your friends and the closest ones to you that's going to do something to you.
So there's been a ton of protests against race-related issues in Paris, Texas for a long time now. And the ones I've been to, I've seen maybe 12 or 13 people. But every weekend there's parties going on, you know, jam-packed full of young people and older people as well. Do you think if people focus more on getting things done permanently instead of when, you know, somebody's murdered for like the first week, everybody wants change,
Yeah.
do you think that would have an impact?
I'm very disappointed, and you know, I don't live here, but I see the rallies and I see it on Facebook, and I have to promote it, and then to see the turnout is very disappointing. Like, say people have parties, like people are real quick to spend their money and stay broke, whatever, but when it comes to something that's enriching their life as far as human rights and how we should be treated, people seem to want to be numb. They just want to party and forget about things. Like I say, eventually it'll come around. I mean, I'm not the partying type or anything like that, but I never thought, you know, this would happen to Troy or someone close to me. You never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, I think if you go ahead and set an example and just say, hey, we're not going to put up with this, we're not going to settle for this, then maybe people would treat you different. I mean, yes, race plays a part in a lot of things, but I mean, how do we expect them to care about us if we're not caring about us? We're the one killing each other. People disagree with what the people up in Ferguson are doing about their situation, but I mean, the whole community is coming together and say, hey, we're not going to settle for this, and that's what it takes sometimes for everyone to come together. Like, this is a small town, like I said. Like, I mean, this is Paris. I'm not talking down on anything like that, but it's a big world out there, and it's just so much more to see than to be in the small town where you know everybody and just being enemies and, you know, having jealousy for somebody else or gossiping and all that stuff. Like, people hop on Facebook all day and say RIP this and change should come, but then you have an opportunity to come and be present for people who want to give change to, you know, the community, and then you don't show up.
What do you think about the pastors and the preachers in these churches not really caring about the situation?
I'm not too much a religious person. I'm just spiritual. I don't need a religion to treat people right or anything like that. But I mean, I don't know why all pastors should come out and help these families. Pastors should be, you know, I mean, you want everyone to come to church on Sundays and during the week and everything like that. You want to be a leader inside the church, but I think you need to be a leader outside the church too. You know, it just, that kind of rubs me the wrong way, because there was a pastor who had said that he had some clues to maybe we could have found Troy a little bit earlier. Then we were like, hey, come show us, you know, what you seen or whatever. And he was like, I don't want to be in it, don't mention my name. Like, how can a pastor or a person of God like be like that? I don't want to make anyone mad, but I totally disagree with pastors of that nature. And I have talked to the parents of quadruple murder and things like that, and there's certain pastors who have been around, but not all like they should be. I mean, this is 2014, and I feel like a lot of people have lost a lot of heart, like, you know, back in the 60s, and you see everybody marching together and won't change and just willing to go all out for human rights. We're all, like, color means nothing. We're all the same people. We all breathe the same. I don't fear anybody. So it's just like, I don't get it. The leadership, there need to be more leaders.
Have you been holding up since Troy passed?
In the beginning, you know, I broke down, but just calling his mom and hearing her cry on the phone every day kind of get to me. I don't even want to think about it, but something needs to be done, so I found strength in that, and just gotta keep it pushing and be strong. We can't break down right now until something, you know, something is done about it.
I heard there was a $5,000 reward for person that comes forth with information that leads to the arrest of the person that killed Troy. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
No, it's not 5,000. It actually has went up to 20,000. Been doing a lot of networking and raising funds to anyone that's gonna, step up. And I mean, like I said, I have evidence, phone records and things like that. But as far as some other things, we need people to come on and step up, because several people that are of interest. I know they have many associates that know things because they're going around saying things. Just need them to go ahead and speak up. Like, this is a murder. This isn't like somebody stole somebody's bike, or somebody stole somebody's dog, or somebody broke into somebody's house. Somebody lost their life. And with one life taken, a whole family pretty much loses another life, because it's a hole in people's hearts that can't be filled right now. They'll never be filled. So it's like real life, and people just, I don't know why they just don't care.
And I feel like the funny thing about that is everybody runs around saying no snitching, no snitching. When somebody's murdered, nobody comes forth, but
right.
Let somebody's car rims get stolen.
Yeah.
The first thing they're gonna do is go to the police.
Everything is people along the way. A lot of, just like the word love is lost its definition. Like, people get that mixed up. That people say I love you, but they don't really mean it. It's just a word. You gotta pay attention more to people's actions or whatever. Like snitching, people have put so many other situations that fall under snitching, but I don't feel like telling somebody murder someone is snitching. Why wouldn't you want to say anything? Even if it's a stranger get killed, like, I couldn't see myself just not snitching. Like, if somebody lost their life, this other person is gonna probably do it to somebody else. And like I said, reading this autopsy is, nobody should have to go through that at all.
Has there been any suspects in the case?
Yes, several. There's main two, or I should say top three, that I'm very concerned about. I have the records to show it, and certain incidents that happened prior to his disappearance. It all falls in line. That's why I said we have statements, and people who came to the authorities to give their statements and never got a call back from the authorities to say, hey, come on and give your statements or anything like that. But we have statements from several people. That's why I just ask anyone, just, if you know something that can give us, the last couple keys to put in the lock, then come forward. You don't have to go to the authorities. You can talk to me. I'm not going to put your name out there. I just want the people who did this off the street.
Do you think the Paris Police Department can handle this investigation, or do you think it'll have to lead to a federal investigation?
We left it up to them when his car was found, and the car was found on fire that Friday morning. The rental place called his parents and said, hey, where's your son, because somebody wants to buy the rental car that he's in. They called his mom that morning a couple of times. So she was like, I haven't talked to him. I got the call from his mom that Friday night asking if I had talked to him, if I could get a hold to him. I couldn't get a hold to him. She said that morning that they were going to the rental spot and see if they have a GPS on the rental car. When they get there that morning, the rental spot tells them they don't have a GPS on it, but they need to contact the sheriff department. I just, we lost 24 hours right there, because as soon as they found that car on fire, all you had to do is run a place. You knew where it led back to. Why didn't you contact the family and say the car was found burnt, instead of contact the family and say, hey, somebody want to buy the car? That's just a lie right there. So it's just a lot of things that led us to contact Chuck Foreman, the private investigator who came out. Like I said, we got teams together, went search for Troy, went canvas areas, and I felt like they put a lot of pressure on certain people because I felt like we were close to his body at one point, but some people making calls. It's a lot of people involved that don't want their name out there. There's many people who have came forward and say, hey, I want to speak, and then backed out of it. One of the persons of interest ended up going to the hospital 20 minutes before he was supposed to speak to the private investigator. What are you nervous about? That's all that is. What he's scared about, and he still haven't contacted us back since. So it's just kind of like crazy to where if the authorities here in town don't do anything, I will step above and beyond to make sure, you know, something happens, because like I say, this is Paris, and this isn't our only option to get things done. We will allow them time. I've been patient, but I feel like with all this evidence, they should have closed the case already. So if they don't, then we just have to step it up.
Since Paris Police Department doesn't have a homicide division, who do they use for these type of investigations?
They have narcotics. I don't know exactly what they call it, but narcotics department on it. I mean, Paris is known for always having, you know, drug busts. It seems like that's all they focus on. I've heard of incidents with someone shoplifting and the whole squad is out finding a shoplifter, or someone getting arrested for shooting dice or something like that. But when someone is murdered, it just, I mean, they should come down on the whole town until, you know, something is done. I know a lot of people was talking about them, how they watch First 48 and everything like that. Well, I've heard the authorities tell them how you watch too much TV. But maybe they need a camera on them 24/7 to make sure that they're doing their job and getting the job done. I mean, I don't want to discredit anyone I mean, everybody, you know, need to feed their family or whatever, but like, if you're going to take the position of being an authority, just do your job. You got people depending on you. If you using the narcotics people to come, you know, do a murder investigation, I mean, they're trained, just like drug dogs are trained to go straight to the drugs. So it's going to be certain things that they look over. I know certain people have been arrested for the quadruple murder, but it's all been associated around the drugs. But what about the murder? Okay, what if drugs are involved? It's still a life taken, you know? It's just the priorities of these incidents. It just really doesn't make sense. I would really like to see the authorities out in Paris, Texas get a homicide department.
Did you know anybody from the quadruple homicide?
I haven't lived in Paris for a while, but from my understanding, it's one of the gentlemen was my cousin. Yeah. But you know, I haven't been in the loop of things going on. I've heard things about it.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add?
Just want to give pretty much an overview of my experience and what I've been working with Troy. The authorities had told us all summer that we could have a copy of the autopsy because the murder was still under investigation. I had to go and do background checks to see the process of when murders happen and, you know, where the bodies go. I figured called around is to see that they go to American Forensics in Dallas, which it's kind of like to me, from my research, it's like a quick autopsy. So I mean, it's a quick return or whatever. But long story short, I called them. They told me what judge I need to talk to, and I made a call to the authorities, and I had his autopsy within the next 2 days. They helped me out a lot to see what they did to his body and how he was murdered. Helps put the whole picture together. Also, I just got a hold to his phone records, and I've been studying them like from the beginning of the year and seeing how different people's numbers can be found right before his disappearance. Very suspicious to me, and several people names are known. I'm not sure. I mean, if I know that my name is associated with a murder, I'm gonna come forward and say, hey, I'm not, clear your name. It just puzzles me why they haven't came to clear their name if they aren't, the suspects, but I'm pretty confident they are. Phone records don't lie. Different situations before he disappeared, people saying other things, and seems like what they said they followed through with. So it's just, I don't understand why police really aren't acting on it like they need to be.
What kind of person was Troy? What was his personality? Was he a funny guy? Business minded?
Like I say, I grew up with Troy. We connected because we do music together. He was business minded, very smart, intelligent. You can hear it throughout his music. Him and I talked about a lot of things we want to do around Paris, like buying the Branches property, building a big recreation center for the kids, things like that. I moved out of Texas and was pushing him to move with me, and he stayed in Paris and held shows and having contests, coming around giving kids Easter baskets and Christmas gifts, helping out with school supplies, Halloween costumes. We would talk about certain things, but it came to a certain point to him like, hey, let's get out of Paris and let's do bigger things so that we can go back and do bigger things. But he was just so adamant about staying here and doing things around town for the kids. He hates seeing kids not being able to have whatever they wanted to have. That was the kind of person that he was. Always joking, me and him fuss back and forth because he think he knew everything. So he kept me on my toes. I kept him on his toes. Wasn't about a person. Like that's probably how he ended up right here, because there were people who kind of like took advantage of him, but he chose not to react because it's really not really worth it. You let karma handle different people. You just stay focused on your mission.
I've noticed when people around here are killed, whether it be by a car accident or anything, when they're not of color, they usually they throw ceremonies for people, have these big things for the celebrating the person's life. But when it's somebody of color, they seem to be more villainized in the media, especially here in Paris. Often showing taking pictures of maybe that's not the best looking picture of them, trying to make them seem more like a criminal.
Yeah.
Does that affect you?
Because I know, when Troy passed away or these murders happened, they want to put up mug shots. You can easily go to the family and get a more recognizable picture or a better picture. And I remember when Troy was missing, I believe there was a wreck in Paris, and that's all you saw on the news. And we're like, but Troy is missing and we can't get him on the news. But it's things like local leaders like Brenna Cherry that step up, and make people aware that this is happening in this town. And we just, like I say, got to push it out there to the media, get it outside of Paris so other people would know about it. Because I don't think they would ever have put it on TV or put it in the newspaper if we had stepped up and pushed it out there. That's why I said I'm disappointed at the outcome of the rallies when, like, this is your hometown. Like, people are all on Facebook all day. Like, you don't want to be out in the streets, but yet you're on Facebook all day. People still see you, So if you're going to be on Facebook, come out here in the streets and stand up. Because a lot of people out here have kids. You got to protect your kids if you plan on staying in this area. I just don't understand how that works.
Do you feel as if there were more positive things around the city, more youth groups or, academies for, people that want to learn sports and things like that would kind of, decrease some of the black on black violence around here, give people something positive to look at?
Yeah, that would help out more, but I mean, you can have those places for kids to go, recreation centers like that. But also, we have babies having babies, so babies raising babies. If these kids have no leadership at home to look forward to, then that's what we're going to get. So maybe the educational system out here needs to be enhanced and upgraded. Like I say, it's a lot of things that happen that a lot of people out here, I can't fault them for not helping, but some people just don't know how. But if you can hop on Facebook all day and these social medias all day, Google is pretty much wide open. Information is free. All you gotta do is Google. You can find out anything you want to find out. So, like I say, if you knew better, you do better. But it's out there. Like, nobody's hiding any information from anyone.
Is there anything else you would like to share?
I know the quadruple murders. The family didn't get to identify the body. We didn't get to really identify Troy's body. I know certain people can say, you know, you don't need to see it, but it's really up to us for closure. Like, that's 5 caskets. I don't know what was in those caskets. I don't know what was in Troy's casket. We didn't get to identify the body. Let's just say distinctive tattoos or whatever. It's just a lot of things I disagree with about, you know, when these murders happen. A lot of people are just, the authorities are really insensitive about it. The mothers out here hurt, family members are hurting. They kind of like don't know what to do, or, you know, give up when it seems like nobody, people who are in place to help you aren't really doing anything. Like, how do you apply for a job and then you don't want to carry out the duties and just get a paycheck? I mean, if anything has happened to me or anything, just reading this autopsy and how they murdered Troy was just unbelievable. The state his body was found in, like I say, Emmett Till back in the day, his mom had an open casket. Like, people out here need to know this is real. You know, it's real. Like, this autopsy, out of respect for his family, I won't, you know, give details, but this is very disturbing. And these people are still out here on the street. Like, people need to click, like, pay attention to your surroundings and your people, your so-called friends. Like, when you go to people's houses, like, be very careful. Like, check closets. Make sure that nobody else is in the house trying to set you up, because people out here are lazy. A lot of people can't get anything on their own, so they're out to get whatever they can from the next. And people really set you up, thinking they're going to gain much more than what they have. And I don't think these people's lives was worth the little that they thought that they did get. Just tell people just to be careful, know your surroundings, and know your so-called friends.